bro, last year I had a great year. I doubled my revenue, but many people wonder how can you take your business to the next level?
Yo, man, that's good, man. My firm did really, really good last year as well. Doubled my revenue as well,
Nice,
you know.
nice.
But it all boils down to the four things to grow any type of business: knowing your audience, having good people,
Oh yeah,
knowing your numbers, and the
important.
marketing mix. Always boil down to those four things. Whether you're growing your business from 0 to 50K,
Hmm.
250K to half a mil, or over a mil, it all boils down to the first thing. So the first one is knowing your audience, knowing your customers. The
Hmm.
better you get to know your customers, the better you get to know what their wants are, what languages they speak, is the best you'll be able to communicate to them, communicate your business,
Okay.
communicate your brand, communicate what you have to offer. Like, for instance, with your clients, I mean, I've seen your business grow exponentially, but you'll keep on increasing the type of service that you offer to your clientele, right?
Exactly. Correct.
Yeah. So, I
Hmm.
mean, it really comes from really studying your customers, what went wrong, the things that you did well, and really try to improve how you're communicating to your customers, how you're communicating your product and the
Hmm.
benefits of those products. And a lot of people overlook that. They say, okay, well, I'm growing right now, so let's just keep on doing it and ignoring the customers. No, before you get new customers, you really have to figure out how do you continue to service and satisfy your existing customers and clientele.
Exactly. It all boils down to finding that solution for your clients.
100%.
That's pretty much that's what I do in my business,
Yeah.
right? I identify what's the problem,
Hmm.
and then I find a solution.
Yeah.
There's a solution for everything,
Yes.
so you just
100%.
got to find it.
And at the end of the day, that's why your customers seek out your service or seek out your
Exactly.
product, is to find a solution for whatever problem or whatever need they have.
Exactly.
All right. So number two, so many people overlook this as well, is the people within your company. If you're
Mm.
going to grow, you have to have good people. You have to have good people and you have to have people. One thing that I've seen with small businesses, the business owner sometimes think that they can do it all and still grow. No,
Hmm.
as a one-man shop or even a
Okay.
two-man shop, you're always going to be limited,
Exactly.
limited on creativity, limited on ideas, and just limited on manpower. Because
Hmm.
if it's just you, if you have 50 clients and you're the only one servicing them for their product, for their planning, for their strategies, if you double and get 100, that means you're working nonstop and the quality of the service that you are producing is going to always go down.
Exactly.
So you have to have good people, not just any people. I mean, not just getting numbers just to do the job, but it also having the right people that fits within the culture, that fits within the teamwork that you're trying to build. Like for me with the law firm, right now, the culture and the people that I have within the firm,
Hmm.
I can definitely attribute most of the growth in 2022 to having the right people behind the firm, behind the brand, because one, they're all fully competent. They
Exactly.
all love what they do.
Hmm.
I don't have to micromanage them. But
Hmm.
most importantly, they add value and they
Exactly.
add to the customer experience. If you
Exactly.
don't have the right people, if you just hire people who are not as skilled, who don't buy into your culture, who don't believe in the vision of the brand,
Right.
well, eventually it's going to suffer. So, yeah, you might grow, but if the customer experience goes down because of the
Hmm.
people that you're working with, well, then you won't grow. So, definitely in thinking about growth, growing your business, the people that you have, adding people to your team is monumental from
Exactly.
going from 100K to 500K.
Exactly. And upwards.
Yeah,
And a lot of times you have to invest in your own people.
exactly.
You have
Yeah,
to invest in your own people in order for your company to grow.
yeah,
A lot of times as business owners, they miss that part, and
yeah.
that's a very crucial part
Real, real
in
crucial.
business.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I forgot to mention that I was able to do as well is I offer training for my employees. Like I even tell them, hey, if you find a course in this area,
Hmm.
go ahead and take it. I'll pay for it, right?
Exactly.
And constantly trying to upgrade and renew the processes
Right.
for the employees
Right.
so that they can grow individually. Because
Exactly.
if your employees, if your team grow individually,
Hmm.
well then your
Exactly.
company is going to grow.
Because all you're doing is you're just enhancing their skills.
Yeah.
You know, you're investing in them to enhance their skills, and with that, they're able to enhance your business,
Yep.
and we can all grow at the same time.
Yep.
You know.
And then third, definitely one that I mean, people overlook all of these, but third, I think it's something that I learned in my second year of having my law firm. It's knowing your numbers, right? Oh man, you have to know your
Have
numbers.
to.
You have to know what your revenue is. You have to know what your cost is. You have to know what your expense is. You have to know the metrics behind what your profit margins
Hmm.
are. Like I always hear some people say, "Oh man, I want to make $1 million this year. I want my company to grow to $1 million." But you ask them, okay, well, how much product are you going to have to sell in 1 month to make $1 million for the
Exactly.
year? How much expenses, like what's the minimum amount of expenses that you're going to have have in order for you to grow the business without suffering a loss?
Right.
So I think the numbers is so crucial, especially if you're going from 100K to 250K. You alone can't manage.
No,
You alone can't manage the numbers.
it's impossible.
Yeah, I remember I was trying to buy a spa. I was trying to acquire it, and when I went to the owner, I said, "All right, I have to see the financials of the spa. I have to see your numbers. Like, what's your revenue?
Hmm.
What's your cost? What's payroll? I need to know what is your net income, right? Which is obviously revenue minus cost."
Exactly.
And he pulled out a spreadsheet. From inside the spreadsheet, I'm like, he, this is dead. I mean,
Just walk away.
yeah. So many business owners do that, and I mean, people get away with it.
Hmm.
But if you think about the time that you have to put in it for you to really manage a spreadsheet and the
Yeah.
things that you can miss versus getting something like QuickBooks and having a bookkeeper or an
Exactly.
accountant monitor it for
Something.
you. Yeah,
Having something.
yeah. So for growing your business, knowing your numbers, you'll be able to say, all right, last year I did 500K. How can I grow? Where you're going to look at your expenses first and say, okay, well, my expenses were 150,000. Well, if I increase my expenses a little bit, such as my marketing expense, I do
Hmm.
more marketing. Well, then more than likely it's going to affect the revenue and increase the revenue,
Exactly.
right? Or you're able to look and say, well, I made 500K, but my expenses was only 50K. Well, maybe if I invest 50K in another employee
Hmm.
that can do more work, well, then that is how it's going to increase the revenue. So if you don't know your numbers, you don't know the metrics behind your
Right.
business, you will not maximize how much you can grow. To grow your business, you have to know the numbers. If you want to
Exactly.
make 50K, you have to know how much pencils you are going to have to sell, how much t-shirts you're going to have to sell,
Exactly.
and what time you're going to have to put in and what's the value of your time as well.
Exactly.
So
You know, it'll just help you make, an informed decision,
exactly.
that can potentially have a big impact in
Yeah,
your business,
huge impact.
you know?
And the problem that people face when they don't know their numbers is, all right, they may look at revenue and say, okay, man, last year in 2022 I did 500K, let's get to a mil. But then because they don't know their numbers, they fail to realize that they spent 400K, but just looking at the amount of money that came in
Exactly.
without looking at how much money they spent to make that money.
Hmm.
So knowing the numbers is key. Um, Last but not least, which is my favorite part of business growth,
I
is
know. Marketing.
yes, every company and every brand will live and die by how they market.
Bro,
It doesn't
agreed.
matter how good you are as a professional. It doesn't matter how well you're able to litigate in a courtroom. It doesn't matter how good of an artist you are or how well you can do here. Your growth and the scalability of your growth
Hmm.
is going to depend on your marketing mix,
Exactly.
right? So if you're thinking about growing your business, you should automatically want to look at, okay, what were some of the things that worked well for me last year or last quarter? Did you live off of those referrals, right? If you are living off purely referrals and zero marketing, well, then if you want to grow it, okay, how can you invest in marketing to those referrals to upgrade or to upsell those existing clients. But then
Exactly.
if you really want to grow the business beyond referrals, all right, well, no, you have to look at, okay, what am I doing in the digital space? What am I doing on social media? Are there partnerships or collaborations that I can do with another brand, another company that would allow me to grow the business more?
Hmm.
So the marketing mix, investing in marketing is so crucial. And if you're on a tight budget, you don't have to think dollar amounts.
Exactly.
You don't have to think dollar amounts in terms of increasing the marketing. I mean, if you say, all right, I don't have the dollar amount to invest in a marketing campaign, well, what can you do? You can network and you can collab. You can say, all right, well, I can go with another company that works with mine. I promote for them, they promote for me, and it's going to move the needle
Hmm.
upwards. So you have to have some type of clear, intentional marketing plan, because at the end of the day, if you're just living off of referrals, one day that may dry up,
Exactly.
or it may grow and stay the same. And if it grows or it stays the same, you're never going to maximize your potential.
Right. They'll just stay stagnant and
Yeah,
just in one spot.
exactly. Exactly. So again, the four things that you have to think about when you're trying to grow your business is: one, you have to know your customers. You have to know your audience.
Oh yeah.
Two, you have to know your numbers all the time. In
All the
order
time.
to grow, you have to know your numbers,
That's my favorite part. Numbers.
right? Yeah.
Love
And your people. You have to have a good team. You
it.
have to
Hmm.
have the right people behind your company, behind your service. And last but not least, you have to have a clear
Oh yeah.
and intentional marketing mix, marketing strategy.
You have to, man, in order to scale your business.
Yeah.
That's the only way you're able to scale your business with those four strategy tips.
All right.
Have to. So
Let's get it.
let's go.